come Tron with Dredge, a deck that he is very comfortable with. Be a Gemstone Mine to start here for Tomajko. He's got the old Shriekhorn. Doo-doo. Now this is a matchup that I've heard Tron is happy with.
So you have main deck Rolik. Worm Coil is very good against them. And some of your big plays are pretty good too. Dredge is really explosive. There's a lot of pressure on you to have natural Tron because you don't want to play a ton of turns against this deck, but Rolik can buy you a lot of time, and they don't interact with your lands, and many of your big plays are really good.
Oh, there's a Conflagrate. Pass the turn back. Conflagrate will get exiled by the Relic. Here's a Tower of Power. That's a Chromatic Sphere. There goes a Faithless Looting. Pass the turn back. Dredge the Stinkweed Imp. 2, 3, 4, 5. Stinkweed Imp, Faithless Looting, Cathartic Reunion, Life from the Loam, and a Stomping Grounds are the cards we see there. I'm curious how Tomajko's going to work himself through this Relic of Progenitus. I have to imagine he's got experience doing so. He's 10-3 with Dredge. I know he's very passionate about this deck and has been playing it a lot. Posted on Twitter a sideboarding guide and the deck list he would play. He's a very smart kid at a young age, so he's going to Dredge Loam here. Creeping Chill among these cards. Creeping Chill is going to resolve, so Tomajko's going to gain 3. Rolik will lose 3.
Yeah, Rolik here under no pressure to use the Relic. Tomajko would have to present at least one creature through this dredging to make that a concern.
And Dredge the Loam, get those lands back via the dredging of the Loam, so Tomajko's looking to play maybe a little bit more of a normalized game, as here's a Shriekhorn activation. Prized Amalgam and Shriekhorn are placed into the graveyard. This is a Copperline Gorge. Pass the turn back, so we'll go back over to Rolik, who still hasn't busted the Relic yet. I don't think there's much of a reason for him to, as Patrick didn't mention. This is a Sanctum of Ugin. So Rolik is missing green mana and one of the Tron pieces. There goes the Shriekhorn. We head back over to Oliver Tomajko. Tomajko will Dredge Stinkweed Imp. Shriekhorn, Cathartic Reunion, Life from the Loam, Narcomoeba, and a Bloodstained Mire.
So Narcomoeba plus Price Amalgam could be enough for Rolik to make a move here, but it looks like he's going to hang tight.
Narcomoeba is hanging out in the graveyard for now. There's a trigger, and we might see Rolik finally blow this Relic, or Tomajko target himself with Shriekhorn in response to the trigger. That's kind of where we are in this mini delay. All right. Narcomoeba's back. That was going to be a mountain. Looks like Tomajko may have changed his mind.
Well, you may want to consider doing any sort of mill first before playing your land, because you can mill over a Bloodghast.
I'm going to flashback a Faithless Looting.
Yeah.
Draw 2. And Stinkweed Imp might be headed to the graveyard. It's actually going to be a Stinkweed Imp and a Stomping Ground that'll be placed in the graveyard here. Let's get Prized Amalgam back. And now Rolik says, I will bust the Relic entirely. Remove our graveyards, draw a card, play a Chromatic Star now. Crack the Star for a green. Sylvan's Scrying, finally. So there's a Scrying. I'm going to go get that missing piece of the Tron.
Can't feel comfortable here if you're Tomajko. Rolik here at 17. Tron assembled. No pressure on the battlefield for Tomajko.
And now there's a Walking Ballista for 2. So Shriekhorn's going to go toot-tootin'. We're going to put a Shriekhorn and an Arid Mesa into the graveyard, and now draw a card with Tomajko. And now that he's worked through that Relic, I'm curious to see the fireworks that could take place here. This is a Stinkweed. That is not the fireworks I was expecting. At all.
It's a different sort of fire. Okay.
Here's a Wormcoil Engine. That is a Wormcoil Engine. We might be heading to a second game here in just a moment, and we are. As Tim Rolik able to win game number 1 here over Oliver Tomajko. Mono Green Tron up a game over Dredge.
A tire fire.
One of the dumpster variety.
Yeah, dumpster fire, yeah.
tough to get excited about a 1-2 flyer, an old Stinky Winky, I would say. But that's where we were on that particular day. Tomajko got to do some sideboarding here. Rolik will do the same. We will start with Oliver. Actually, we'll start with Tim Rolik, who's up a game. He's got 2 Thought-Knot Seers, 3 Thrag Tusk, 2 Dismember, 4 Nature's Claims, 2 Spatial Contortions, and 2 Surgical Extractions. I think Extractions are the easiest ones to bring in. I'm not sure you want much past that, honestly.
I like the Thrag Tusks.
Yeah?
I like gaining life and blocking that much is good against Dredge. It's not quite the same as Wormcoil Engine, but yeah, I think it's still well above the line against them.
It is not as good as Wormcoil Engine. That is true, but few things are, as we saw in that last game. So I think this might be a reasonable way to go. As far as Tomajko's sideboard is concerned, as these players shuffle up and get ready for game number 2, 3 Leyline of the Void, 2 Ancient Grudge, an Assassin's Trophy, along with 3 Lightning Axe, 4 Nature's Claim, and 2 Stain the Mind.
The Assassin's Trophy seems good here. Ancient Grudge is low cost. There's some targets. Probably don't want to go as deep as Nature's Claim because hard to imagine that Tron has something like Leyline of the Void in their sideboard, but like the Trophy, like the Grudges.
Well, those are the options there for both players. And game number 3 will be underway. Or excuse me, game number 2 will be underway. Oliver trying to force a game number 3 here in just a moment. That first game did not really go according to plan. Wasn't really able to play through Relic all that well. So,
well, he just his dredges weren't good at all early on. It took him way too long to force the action, and even when Tomajko was able to force the action, it was in a pretty innocuous spot. We were just talking about a copy of Prize to Malcolm, and then the Shriekhorn failed to flip over a Dredger, so at that point he was just taking natural draw steps. So Tomajko's draw was definitely complicated by the Relic, but not at all assisted by the fact that his Dredgers were so modest.
we will prepare here for game number 2. As looks like Rolik will take a mulligan. Remember, after this game is done, we're going to do a preview card here from War of the Spark. And you know what? If you at home want to hear Patrick and I talk about a particular preview card, let us know. Tweet at me. Use that hashtag SCGCLE at Cedric A. Phillips on Twitter. We'll cover one for you guys before Jerry T and Brian G come back in the booth here for round number 15 to close out our Swiss rounds as we get ready here for the elimination round. 760 showed up to Cleveland. Only 8 will be in the elimination rounds, and only 1 will be champion here in the land. It'll be a Bloodghast and a Prize Amalgam that'll be placed in the graveyard off of the very powerful Faithless Looting. Chromatic Sphere is where Tim will start his game off of an Urza's Power Plant. This is a Shriekhorn here for Oliver. He will mill 2. Arid Mesa and Gemstone Mine, but no land to get back those creatures. So now the Chromatic Sphere will be cashed in for some green mana.
I was going to say, Tomajko with the Ancient Grudge in hand, and I was surprised I would have just gone land, Grudge, or Sphere, get my stuff back, but that would explain it.
In Urza's Mine, into a Chromatic Star, into nothing doing. Now, it'll be a Faithless Looting here for Oliver. He'll draw 2 more cards. He'll have to discard 2 cards, and I'm not sure he's found a land yet for the Bloodghast to get back the Amalgam. And he has not, so now we go back over to Tim Rolik. I don't know if he's got the Tower of Power or not. It appears as though the answer is no. There's a Relic of Progenitus, though, and that might cause some headaches here for Oliver, whose draws have just not come together here in this match.
Yeah, it's really rough for Tomajko here. He can't even force the issue on the Relic right now because he has to take natural draw steps to try to find land number 2. And if he does it and he triggers landfall of the Bloodghast, at that point Rolik can just go ahead and take care of the entire graveyard.
There'll be another Shriekhorn here for Oliver as we head back over to Tim. That is an Expedition map. That means the Tower of Power is on the way, unless, of course, Tim would like to grab a Forest for some reason, which I suppose isn't out of the question. But it is going to be the Tower of Power. So the Tron is online for Tim, whose top 8 dreams are very much alive here if things keep going this way. We'll head over to Tomajko. This will be a Relic of Progenitus activation. It'll exile all the graveyard. Tim will draw a brand new card. You got to be feeling pretty good about things if you are Tim. Your opponent has no graveyard, nothing really going on, and you've got access to 9 mana at the very least next turn, and probably more than that, as Dark Blast and Bloodghast will go into the graveyard from the first Shriekhorn activation. Steam Vents and Arid Mesa from the other. A Blood Crypt will enter the battlefield untapped here for Tomajko, and does he perhaps have Cathartic Reunion to really get something rolling here? The answer is yes. Life from the Loam and Conflagrate will be placed in the graveyard as part of the casting of that Cathartic Reunion. Now we'll dredge 3 from the Loam. Now we'll dredge 3 from the Dark Blast. Prize Amalgam in there. And now the Loam will dredge 3. It'll be a Narcomoeba, Faithless Looting, and a Life from the Loam.
I mean, it's some stuff, but again, it's just taken Tomajko so long to get any footing in this game, and Rolik now has Tron online, so if he's got any big payoffs, Tomajko is at the mercy of him.
Well, you see Rolik has quite a few cards in hand, and if you wanted a big payoff, you got it. The lands are gone. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, is here. Dredging a Loam is somewhat humorous now, looking to get back some lands that you can't get back. And Tim Rolik is going to win this match here quite easily.